Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us for the first time, this is where we are having fun with words and numbers. We are exploring number one, and I thought I have done two presentations on that, but it's really like the word straight because when we think of the number one, we think of a straight line, don't we? I mean, that is what we do. We write one and in numerical sense, and we just do a stroke. Now, what has happened is that I have done two presentations and come across this term because I come from a spiritual background or religious background, I should say. I am like thinking, oh, straight and narrow gate. The way to the kingdom is through the straight and narrow gate. Now, perhaps I'm not remembering word for word, but that has stuck with me. And so this is what we are discovering through numerology. I am now able to readdress those things that have been so entrenched in me and to see how I can relate to them now in a new light and in a joyous way as well. So I hope you are having that opportunity to do that too, or perhaps you are already there and just joining in with me. That is fun too. So the street, we've done the numerical value for street and we had three. Not quite sure exactly how we got the three. Was it okay, we can do that quickly. 2, 8, 7, 9, 1, 9, 2, 1. Okay, so this is 10 and 7, 17, and 9, that's 26, and 1, 27, and 9 would be 36, and 3. 36 and 3 is 39. So that's how we got this 3. Okay, and narrow was 8. Now that I thought was very interesting because through the narrow gate. And that's how I like to see how all these things coming together because I have watched people who work with, for instance, I have watched Santos Bonacci, and I can't say really can follow everything that he teaches, but he does speak about the narrow gate of something to do with the serum going up through the spinal cord, something to that effect, and opens the third eye. But here in numerical value, this is what I am dealing with. It's that whole, it's like number 8 is really where the zero, in my understanding, in what I am endeavoring to understand and how the spirit works through me in the language that I can understand, is that there was a flexible zero, if you like, and it's like God blew and it took the shape of the 8. In essence, or whatever. And this is how, because when God blew breath or through our nostrils, because the word nose also equals 8. And this is why I have got this symbol here for the I am that I am. We are capturing God's signature on our faces here. So this is denoting where the breath we could see. So this here, in actual fact, is the narrow gate. That's where the twist came. So the twist is formed as a demarcation of where you leave earth and you go into heaven. When you are in heaven, you're supposed to know you are in heaven. So whether it's like we had a nice meal, for instance, we say, oh, that was heaven. Or we made love and we say, oh, that was simply heaven. It's that demarcation of what we perceive heaven to be in that sense. So here we are. As I have covered, we see that the 8 is here. It comes here. The breakdown of 386 is perfect in this alignment. You can see the 6 here. 3 fives are 15. When we add 1 and 5, that becomes 6. We get 6 here. And also, even if we were to add this block here, meaning 4, 5, and 6, that would give us 6 as well. But we see in the middle here, in that new gate, in that narrow gate, then it's narrow. If you could imagine that you had to get through the two sides here, or it was a circle joined together to get to this point, it would seem narrow because you are in the middle, but the narrowness is really from earth to heaven. It's that twist of that demarcation. So it could be that breakthrough. The narrow is representing that breakthrough, that point of that peak or that climax of where you are getting into that other dimension, that heavenly dimension. So we see how it transpires there, because it is the I. It, when we do the numerical value for the word I, it's 5, sorry, I, it's 8, it's also 8, and of course this is where if et, the word et equals 8, so this is where all this is happening perfectly. We also have another I here to remind us this is where the narrow gate to get into the kingdom. So the kingdom is really heaven here, but the kingdom, I say it's heaven because when we do the numerical value for heaven, it is also 1. And that 1 is where we get into that 10, because the numerical value for sacrifice is really 10. 46, 4 and 6 is 10. So here we get into this point where we are birthing a new life. 9 is where we are birthing out that other part, or that newness, that new life, that baby, that truth, that whatever it is that we are birthing here, and that is the kingdom. That is the kingdom. Okay, so that is that 1 that goes, that 1. In fact, it also correlates with the kingdom, the number 1 in the Kabbalah. We have that number 1 for the kingdom as well, and there's 10 sapphires as well. Okay, so we are talking on that basis here, and so I think I have covered the three numbers here in this narrow gate. There was something else. Yes, the last point. Oh, beautiful, of course. So I added all the numerical values for this, the straight and narrow gate, and we have 17, which is the perfect number of God. So basically, it's like saying you can't go to the kingdom without God. But we need to recognize God in ourselves. Here we are, the I am that I am, which is right here. When we get to understand that God's God's creation in us, and we are of God. Hence, when we look at each other, we should be able to recognize God in the other, and so we are with 17. Isn't that delicious? Very delicious. Mind you, it's also the same for the word dog, but it's the numerical value. And of course, some of us cherish our dogs like they were really our God. It's for us to really be mindful of the numerical value and vibration and how it operates in our lives. So to be mindful, to open our third eye. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this. And if you like this presentation, click the like button and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualize in self-full love. Stay blessed, stay bright, and stay ignited. And be a field, because we are planting new seeds. Namaste. And spill over with love.